If you are a freelance photographer or filmmaker and you have a contact form where people can reach out, you are inevitably going to get a lot of emails from people who want to hire you to film or photograph their event. But some of those people that reach out are not going to be really interested in hiring you at all. No. They are going to be scammers that want to take your money. And in this video, I want to show you one of the most common scams affecting freelance photographers and videographers today. And I'm going to walk you through a real scam, showing you exactly how it works. So whenever a scammer inevitably reaches out to you to film or photograph something, you will know how to recognize this as a scam and be prepared to avoid it before they take your money. But first, let me tell you about the sponsor of this video, my very good friends at Bride&Groom Video. If you are looking for help with editing your photos and videos, I have used Bride&Groom for years now. And let me tell you, they make it simple, reliable, and friendly to outsource your editing. Anytime I need anything, they're only an email away. And with the super convenient online interface that they have custom built and are constantly updating, anytime I want to know the status of any edit that they're working on, I can log in and check on things in seconds. If you're a filmmaker with a website and contact form like me, I'm sure you get tons of emails from various video editing companies reaching out to you, begging you to let them edit your videos. I feel like I get 2 or 3 a day at this point. But let me tell you, Bride&Groom Video is a company that you can trust. They truly care about matching your unique video editing style, and they are very upfront that if you need changes, they're happy to keep making revisions until you are 100% happy. Last month, I attended a retreat where Bride&Groom's editors did next day edits, where literally a video was filmed at the retreat, and then the edit was ready to be watched the next day. It was super cool. Now, while I can't tell you that Bride&Groom Video will be able to offer you next day edits, they do have one of the fastest turnaround times for outsourcing that I have ever seen, with a 14-day turnaround time as standard. And if you want to pay a bit more, they will even get your edits done in 7 days. Yes, you can literally have a wedding film edited in just 1 week. Imagine having a team of video editors completely knocking out your backlog in just a few weeks. Doesn't that sound incredible? This is why I love Bride&Groom Video, and I think you're going to love them too. Give them a try. Check out their link in the video description, book them for your photo or video editing, and whenever you sign up, use the coupon code MATT100, which is going to give you $100 off your first edit of $400 or more from them. Now, this scam starts like most scams do, with an innocent sounding email or text. Someone will either fill out your comment form on your website, or if you have your phone number listed on your website as well, they may text you. It doesn't matter. The message is always going to sound relatively innocent at first glance. It will inevitably be a person asking you if you can film or photograph their wedding, birthday party, or family reunion, and occasionally they will combine multiple events together in an email saying things like, "Hi, can you film my birthday and family reunion?" And you're like, "Oh, okay, combo." This doesn't sound super crazy yet, right? This could be a real person and not a scammer, but there are telltale signs, for example. If you have a section on your contact form where it asks where the event will be taking place, the scammer may not put a venue or even a city or a state. Instead, they will just put local, quote unquote. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, this event is happening local to you. Please let me hire you to film or photograph my event. Now, as for the scammer that I recently interacted with and that we are focusing on making this video about, they go by the name of Cole Brett, which I have to say is a bit of an interesting name. I've known a lot of Coles over the years, but never one spelled quite like this. Regardless, though, they reached out to me and said, "Hello, dear. I need a photographer and videographer to cover my 65th birthday on the 6th of March, 2025. I would need high-quality edited images. Would you be available at the specified date to cover my birthday? Regards, Cole." Notice that there are a few spellings that are a little strange, a few weirdly worded items, but most importantly, they're asking for both a photographer and a videographer because this scammer is trying to cast their net out as wide as possible and try to guarantee a reply. So they're asking if I offer both photo and video. Of course, maybe I was wrong about this being a scammer, so I chose to reply because maybe this was a real client that would be interested in hiring me. I said, "Hi, Cole. Yes, I would be happy to film and photograph your birthday party. Could you please let me know the location?" Seems like a good question to ask. And then I thought about what would be at least a semi-reasonable sounding number to charge. So I threw out that I would charge them $1,000 to photograph a 3-hour-long birthday party, and I signed it warmly, Matt. Not even an hour and a half later, Cole got back to me. "Hi, dear. Sorry for my late response." Really, Cole? It hasn't even been an hour and a half. That's pretty speedy by most email reply standards, especially for me. Regardless, the next thing that Cole said was one of the biggest red flags and indicators of a scam, and I was honestly surprised that they revealed this so quickly. Usually scammers take a few more emails to reach this point, but hey, this guy must be in a hurry. Cole said, "Sorry for my late response. I've been so busy due to the situation of things. I have just been diagnosed with otosclerosis, and I really want to take it off as soon as possible. I'm having surgery for conductive hearing loss in a couple of days. I'm still in the pre-surgical testing phase, though. I'll get back to you in the evening for more details regarding the birthday. Please, where are you located again? Because I skipped that. Regards, Cole." Wow, there is a lot to unpack here. It turns out that Cole is sick, and not just a little sick, he has otosclerosis, which Google tells me means that he has abnormal growth of his ear bones leading to hearing loss. And it gets worse. Not only does Cole have ear bone problems, they also have a hearing loss surgery in a couple days and are in the pre-surgical testing phase, whatever the heck that means. And this statement that Cole just made about hearing loss is actually super important and critical for most scams like this. Here's the deal. Cole is pretending to be a nice 65-year-old man with some health problems that's trying to have a birthday party documented. But in reality, he's probably a much younger man in Nigeria or another foreign country trying to steal some money from me and other photographers and filmmakers. And what is one way that he could be busted? Well, if one of his victims tried to call him on the phone and talk to him, they would probably hear his voice and quickly realize that he's not a 65-year-old man. So to avoid having to make a phone call and keep all the discussions going over text, Cole is pretending to have a hearing issue that he's having surgery for. This is easily the biggest red flag for this type of scam. And if you ever have a person reach out to you about filming or photographing any event and they refuse to talk to you on the phone, I would be extremely alert, because that is a huge sign of a scam. Anyways, let's keep going, because here comes the next big red flag. Remember how I said earlier that if you have a contact form that asks where the event is taking place, the scammer is just going to say that their event is local to you. I want you to notice that in their emails to me so far, Cole the scammer finishes their message by saying, "Please, where are you located again? Because I skipped that." Notice also that in my previous email reply to them, I also asked where their event would be happening, a question which they conveniently ignored. The reason the scammer is asking this question of where I am located is that they're obviously not located in my city or even state or country, but they want to pretend that they are, and they want you to think that whatever event they want you to film or photograph is nearby to you, so that you will agree to take their job and they can take your money. So Cole the scammer has thrown my question of where the event is happening right back at me, because they want me to clarify where I'm located, and they will then choose a random location nearby to make me think that that is where the event is happening. In addition, we're going to discover where this location is in a moment, but I want you to be aware that the reason that most scammers choose to ask if you're available to film or photograph a birthday party or family reunion is that events like this typically happen at a house or a private residence, not a venue that could be rented out. This helps prevent you as a filmmaker or photographer from being able to do some research and calling the venue to confirm that an event is happening there. If the event's happening at a private house, there won't be any way for you to research that otherwise. Not unless you drove by and knocked on the door. "Hey, is a birthday party happening here next month?" Kind of a weird question, right? So in short, events at private residences are another red flag that you need to be aware of that may indicate that you're dealing with a scammer. Now, let's continue our conversation with Cole, acting like a helpful photographer or videographer, because I'm sure that you have dealt with clients that have asked dumb questions before, like me. I replied to Cole and helpfully reminded them that I was based in Austin, Texas, and with a mild tone of concern, I asked them to confirm that their birthday event was happening nearby, knowing, of course, this scammer was going to say that their event was right down the street. And right on cue, 3 hours later, Cole replied, telling me that their event would be happening around my place at a random residential address in Austin, Texas. I'm not going to tell you the exact address they gave me because I'm positive this is just a random location that they chose, and I don't want to just be like, here's an address for a scammer. Not actually an address for a scammer, okay? Just know, though, that this is a normal residential house. It's not a business or anything like that. I looked at the Google Street View. I guarantee you that the scammer just went to Google Maps, tapped on a random house, chose that as the event location. Cole then went on to attempt to make this inquiry look and sound more legit by informing me that they would need me to arrive at 2 p.m. prompt, there would be 30 to 40 family and friends attending, and that they needed both candid and posed photos. I mean, who doesn't want candid and posed pictures, right? It's also a compound party, whatever the heck that means, and we can snap some pictures in their backyard. Sounds relatively legit, right? Maybe. And then we get to the most important part of this email. Cole asks what the total cost for the package would be to cover for 4 hours. If you remember earlier, I quoted Cole a price of $1,000 for 3 hours of coverage, but they came back to me saying they wanted 4 hours of coverage. Why? Because I think they want to make more than $1,000 from me in this scam. So, like any good businessman, I replied to them saying that the cost for 4 hours would be $1,500. Then I signed my message with the word salutations, just to spice up the convo a bit. Cole then replied saying, sounds good. I'm okay with the price. I will make your payment in full so you can book me in advance for the day to avoid any disappointment. I would love to have every moment captured that day with my family and friends. Payment will be via certified check, and I'll have it mailed out to you ASAP. What name do you want to be written on the check, and which address do you want it mailed to? Also, what's your cell phone number? If you haven't noticed already at this point, there are other big red flags in this email as well. Cole wants to pay me in advance via certified check. They didn't ask for my name and address, though. Now, I'm going to explain why this certified check is a big red flag in just a moment whenever we have the big reveal about exactly how this scam works. But for now, all you need to know is that I replied to Cole telling them that sounds great, and they can make the check out to Maddie Johnson, just to see if they would do it, because it's definitely not my name. And in addition, I definitely did not give them my real address either, but I did give them an address of a secure location where I would be able to pick up whatever they did actually end up sending me. And then I had to wait for this check to arrive. Then it finally happened. 2 days later, I received a reply from Cole telling me, hello, how are you? I hope your day went well. I want to inform you that your service fee for my upcoming 60th birthday has been mailed out to the supplied information. Notice red flag number 1 here. Cole said this was for their 60th birthday. When they first email that they sent, they said it was their 65th birthday. They can't even keep their age correct at this point. And then here comes the second big red flag. They gave me an address, but it's not the address that I told them to send the check to. No, this is a completely different address for someone in Dallas, Texas, which I tried to look up because I assume this is another person that the scammer is also sending a check to. And I would ideally like to call and warn them that this is a scam, but I haven't been able to find any sort of contact for whoever lives at this other address. Regardless, we are finally to the biggest red flag of all these emails, and this is also where the actual scam itself takes place. Cole writes in their email, the check will be delivered on Saturday. The payment is from my son-in-law, who insisted on being the sponsor of my birthday, and the payment includes your full service fee and that of the event decorator. I didn't know he would merge the payment. I just received his text notifying me that the check had been sent out, as he wouldn't want to delay the payment till he returns from his business trip, which may be too late, so that was the reason he decided to merge payments on one check for the amount of $4,450. So, are you tracking with me so far? Instead of sending me a check for $1,500, I am now going to instead be receiving a check for $4,450, which is $2,950 more than what I originally told him to pay me. Cool, I'm going to be paid more. Where's the scam? The scam is in the next 3 sentences. Cole says, this shouldn't be a problem, as I believe we can sort it out between us based on trust. You should proceed to deposit the check at your bank once you receive it and deduct your full payment from the shoot, plus an additional $100 for the inconvenience as a result of this. You should notify me once you have the remaining funds so I can give you the event decorator's details to help send the funds via Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App to their bank account. Ta-da! Did you figure it out yet? This is a classic scam. One of the most popular scams out there known as a hot check scam. The way it works is a scammer sends you a check for a certain amount of money. In this case, it's $4,450, and then tells you that they accidentally sent you too much. In this case, it's Cole's son-in-law who accidentally sent me almost $3,000 more than he should have. And what the scammer really wants you to do is to take the check that you've been sent and deposit it to your bank account, because this check is what is known as a hot check. There is no money in the account that the check says it's pulling from. But anytime that you deposit a check, your bank takes a few days to verify that there are funds or not in the account. But the scammer is counting on you not knowing that the bank takes a few days to verify the check, because as soon as you deposit the check, the bank is going to indicate that the funds have been added to your account, when in reality, the bank has essentially given you a short-term loan because it assumes that the check that you have given them is real. Then, here comes the second part of the scam. Once you have deposited that sweet, sweet money into your account, if you follow the rest of the scammer's directions, notice that they want me to deduct my full payment plus an additional $100. So $1,600 from the $4,450 they sent me, and then send that remaining $2,850 to the event decorator as payment for them. It sounds like a simple misunderstanding, right? Something that you, as a nice person, could help fix because you're a nice photographer or filmmaker. But in reality, once the bank realizes that the check that you've deposited is fraudulent and that account that you've said the money's in doesn't have any money in it, you, as the person who deposited it, are on the hook for that money. And they're going to take this $4,450 that they short-term loaned you back out of your bank account. But that is going to take a few days for the bank to notice. And in those few days, once you deposit the check, this scammer is going to start being very insistent that you send them the rest of the money for this event decorator. Spoiler, by the way, in case you haven't figured it out yet, there is no event decorator. Notice how Cole tells me that I can pay them via Zelle, PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App, and whatever account they want me to send the money to is probably either an account that they own themselves, or because they're probably in another country, these accounts may be owned by a money mule, someone who lives in America and acts as a middleman to forward the money that you send them along to the country where the scammer lives. Regardless, the reason they want you to use one of these services to send the money is that the transfer will happen much quicker than it will take for the bank to notice that the original check the scammer sent you was fraudulent. But in addition, most of these money transfer services offer ways for you to send money to the scammer where you cannot get a refund after sending the money, which is what the scammer wants. They don't want to have to give you back whatever money you sent them. This leads us to the final part of the email, where Cole apologizes for the inconvenience that their scam is causing me. And of course, like any dutiful filmmaker or photographer, I happily replied to their email saying, "Thanks so much for sending over the payment. That is a surprise about the funds being combined, but I can make it work. I will wait for the mail to arrive." 2 days later, I received another reply email from Cole telling me that the check would be delivered today and giving me a tracking number with the instructions to let them know immediately when I receive the check so they can give me the event planner's details to send the funds. Remember how I just told you that once the check arrives and is deposited, the scammer's going to become very insistent that I deposit it and send them the money as soon as possible? Well, the check hasn't even arrived yet, and the scammer is already becoming very insistent. And it makes sense that they would start to be insistent, because up until this point, all that I've done is waste some of the scammer's time by replying back and forth to me. But once I give them an address and they ship the check via FedEx, they've now spent money on this scam in the hopes they're going to make thousands of dollars back from me. But in reality, they're about to lose a bit of their money and be frustrated, which I'm not really upset about. Interestingly enough, too, even though the scammer said that the check would arrive that day, in reality, there was a snowstorm in much of the US that week, and it did not arrive that day. But thankfully, I now had a tracking number where I could be notified as soon as the check arrived to scoop it up. And to make things more interesting, whenever I plug that tracking number into the FedEx website, where do you think this check was being shipped from? As the scammer said, they're based in Austin, Texas, right around where I live, and they want me to photograph their birthday party. So imagine my complete surprise, or lack thereof, whenever FedEx tells me that the check isn't coming from Austin. No, it's coming from Ontario, Canada. Now, is that where the scammer's located? It could be. Or they could have a different person working for them who's in charge of sending out their checks and gets a kickback. I don't know. But here's where things get weirder, because the check arrived, and I have it right here. Now, as we already established, this scammer named Cole has already said that their cousin sent the check. So it wasn't a surprise whenever the shipping envelope said it was shipped by a person named Julie in Toronto. To be clear, he said it was his son-in-law, but maybe his son-in-law's named Julie. I don't know. As I said, though, things get weirder because the check itself is from someplace completely different, and it isn't a person at all. No, this check is made out to, as requested, Maddie Johnson, but it isn't from a person. No, it's from a hospital. What? Yes, this is getting weirder and weirder. The Pasadena Hospital Association in Pasadena, California sent this check and someone signed it. Someone whose name starts with a C, which is, I guess, just a random other person involved in this scam. So somehow this check got from California to Canada, then to me, and I already said, while the paper of this check on looks like a real check, there's no way that a nonprofit hospital in California is hiring me to photograph a 60 or 65-year-old person's birthday party in Austin, Texas. Of course, I had to do some more digging on this, so I reached out to my good friend now, Cole, whose birthday's coming up real soon, to play a little dumb and figure out some details about this check. I said, "Hi, Cole. I wanted to let you know the package arrived today, but when I opened it, it looks like the check is from a hospital in California. I wanted to confirm before I deposit it. Is the hospital help paying for your birthday party?" I don't think that's a weird question, considering I don't know of many hospitals that throw birthday parties, and here's where you can tell that Cole is starting to get a bit annoyed. He says, "Hi. Good morning. I hope you're well. I've already told you. The payment is from my son-in-law, who insisted on being the sponsor, so it was mailed by my son-in-law. Kindly deposit the check and let me know so I can give you the event planner details to send the remainder cash. Thanks for the understanding." Cole ain't playing around anymore. He thinks he almost has me. He needs me to deposit this check. So of course, I tell him that I did. And I would be happy to send the payment over to the planner once he lets me know how to do that. Did I actually deposit a check, by the way? Heck no. I'm not depositing some sketchy check from a hospital in California. They need that money for surgeries and colonoscopies and stuff. 6 hours later, Cole replied, "And you can tell they're ready for this money. I'm so glad to hear from you. Kindly send the remainder funds of $2,850 to this Cash App," which I'm going to blur out here because I don't know if this is just some random person that's working with him or they're being scammed as well. And then Cole asked me to send them a screenshot of the transfer so they can give it to the event planner, and they say that they'll be waiting patiently for the screenshot. This, of course, gives me another chance to play dumb and waste a little bit more time. So I'm like, "Hey, do they have Venmo? I don't have Cash App." I have Cash App, okay? They just don't know that, okay? This sends Cole into a bit of a tizzy because remember, they want me to send this money ASAP before the bank figures out the check is fraudulent. They're on a quick time crunch here. So they cut back to me quickly. "The planner doesn't use Venmo. Do you have Zelle? PayPal?" I don't reply for an hour. And then they come back to me again, saying the event planner finally gave me a Venmo to transfer the funds. Here are the details, which they then give me a completely different person's Venmo account that was not in any way related to the person that was on Cash App. And again, they're waiting for that screenshot. Of course, at this point, I still haven't replied. Another hour passed. "Hello, Matt. I already sent the Venmo. I still haven't heard from you. Did you send the funds yet? The event planner is waiting." Dang, this scammer's getting really impatient. Of course, I didn't reply yet. So 3 hours later, another email. "Hello, Matt. Still waiting to hear from you." Then the next morning, 8 a.m. "Good morning, Matt. I hope you're well. I still haven't heard from you. What's going on? They also need to prepare for the special event, aka my 60th or 65th birthday party." Cole's getting a little desperate here. I should probably reply, but I was busy. So I made him wait for 3 days. But then I hit him back saying, "Good morning. So sorry for the slowness. I was out of town. I just transferred the money and we should be all set up for me to photograph your party." Did I transfer the cash? No, of course not. But then he comes back to me telling me I need to send him a screenshot of the Venmo transfer because the planner does not have the funds yet. And it's at this point we could go round and round forever. The scammer asking me for screenshots, me leading them on for longer, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be getting any money from me, and I'm glad to have wasted about 2 weeks of their time and a bit of their money whenever they had to ship this fake check to me via FedEx. The thing you as a filmmaker or photographer need to remember is that if someone reaches out and the email sounds a little weird, the odds are that it's probably a scam and your subconscious is trying to warn you. It's saying, "Hey, this feels weird. This doesn't feel right. Listen to that, okay?" Be careful out there on the internet. And if you could do me a quick favor, could you let me know in the comments what you think of this video? This is the first time that I've ever made a video about scams affecting filmmakers and photographers. There are a couple more that are really common, and I would be interested in knowing if you would like me to cover those as well. Also, in the description, I'm going to link to my edit videos like a pro guide. If you're a filmmaker and you edit your own videos, this guide is going to be super helpful to you and share with you some really useful video editing tips that took me years to learn, and it doesn't matter which video editing software you use, they will apply to you. So check out this guide for free at the link down in the video description. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.